Welcome back, everybody, to the Baby Back Rib Show, episode number 14. Special Valentine's
14.
Day episode, too.
Oh yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I'm not sure if, I think we'll have an episode out before then, but whatever. It's
yeah.
episode number 14, so.
Yeah.
Um,
The Gerald Green episode.
yeah.
That's the only.
That's how you want to remember it. It's the Gerald Green episode, baby.
It's the only sports player I can think that wears number 14.
Um,
That and like Chris Godwin.
Stephon Diggs.
Oh yeah, I guess he's
First-
all right, huh?
The first person who came to mind is, what is it? Gerald
Gerald Green, bro.
Almost said Gerald Ford.
Former
Okay.
president. Bro.
Anyways, we are now up to 28 subscribers on YouTube, which is just awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing, everybody.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, steady growth. Just imagine, like Jeremiah always says, imagine 28 people in this apartment.
Yeah, just
We'd be
sitting
overwhelmed.
behind this camera watching us.
Yeah,
That-
like, dang, that's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm getting nervous now, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Don't do that to me.
You got me all nervous out here, man.
Hey, you got me blushing. All right. No, I really do appreciate it. And to everyone listening on Spotify, I appreciate that as well. So kind of a very packed week in terms of the NFL. So we probably won't even talk about NBA or any of that stuff this week.
I mean, there was like a couple of like small things that happened in the NBA and the MLB. But I mean, nothing
Didn't-
crazy.
The Orioles traded for someone, right?
Yes, they did. I mean, I can talk about that right now if you want.
Yeah. What's his? I don't even know his name. So go
So,
ahead.
so your team, your new baseball team, the Baltimore Orioles, went out. And
What do you mean
traded
new,
for-
bro?
Oh yeah, I forgot you've been a day
I'm a
one
lifer.
fan. My bad. So they actually went out and traded for Corbin Burns, who is a starting pitcher, and he's one of the best starting pitchers in basically all of baseball. Let me pull up his stats
I'm gonna get an
real quick.
Orioles jersey.
Yeah. And hold on, let me see. Pull up these stats real quick. But yeah, they traded for Corbin Burns, who actually won the National League Cy Young in 2021. That's the award for the best pitcher in baseball. And last year he had a 10-8 record with a 3.39 ERA and pitched 193 innings with 200 strikeouts, which for him is a down year, but for like any like if you know ball, basically, you know that's still a really really good year. And
I know ball, so
Yeah.
I knew that.
and so honestly, the most surprising thing was like what the Orioles had to give up for him, and they gave up two prospects in our farm system, DL Hall and Joey Ortiz, which they're just
Nothing?
like they're like so players.
Telling you, man.
Yeah, it's
Orioles
real-
no ball.
Yeah, it's really interesting because they didn't really give up anybody. And if you know the Orioles, you know that they have basically the best farm system in all of baseball.
What does that mean?
So they basically have like the best like they're like they have the best like prospects basically on their team like for the future. So
Like a good young core.
yeah, like they have a lot of young players like in that, like basically it means they just have a lot of like really good
They're
young,
like the Thunder.
yeah, they have like a lot of good young players in their minor league teams that are kind of like waiting to get the call up to the major leagues. So yeah, they're in a really good spot right now, and they really did need starting pitching. That was kind of their like downfall in the playoffs last season. And I mean, you're getting one of the best pitchers in baseball. Looks like it's probably going to be only a year rental, because he is up for a contract after this season. But still, I mean, that's an awesome trade for the Orioles. And I mean, you know, if you want to continue just kind of building this team and building on what you had last year, where you, I don't remember if they won the American League East or if they came in second. Yeah, they won the American League East last year, won 101 games, and I mean, yeah, they're in a really good spot this year. And I mean, you get that ace that you really needed for your starting pitching. So yeah, good trade for the Orioles. Bad trade for the Brewers. Don't really know. I think they could have got a lot more out of this, but those are really my thoughts about it.
Well, I'm ordering a Orioles jersey right now.
On the pod as we speak.
I'm thinking Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, I would say Gunnar Henderson.
Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah. Or like a Adley Rutschman. One of those jerseys would be nice. But yeah, that's basically it for baseball. And for
What happened in the NBA?
they announced the All-Star teams. That's really.
Oh, when did that happen?
So they actually announced the starters like a couple weeks ago, but they announced the rest of the team on Thursday. I would say the biggest snub.
Let's take a look.
I mean, when you talk like, there's always snubs for like every NBA All-Star team, but I would say the guy who probably got snubbed the hardest would have been probably Trae Young. Um,
Dang, he didn't make it.
yeah, having a really good year and didn't make it somehow.
Bam Adebayo was always on the All Star team, and I feel like he's just kind of, he's good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a good player.
Paulo made it. That's cool.
Yeah, Paolo Banchero made it as a second-year player.
Jalen Brunson should be a starter. Honestly.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about that when they announced the starters that they were thinking he should get in over Dame.
Yeah, I was just looking at that over Dame. Come on.
Yeah. Well, people are saying Dame kind of just got in because of the name value, and that's a real.
Jalen Brunson's been balling, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Tyrese Maxey made it.
Tyrese Maxey made it. I mean, yeah, Julius Randle made it too, but I think he's going to be an injury replacement. Maybe the same with Halliburton.
Like they can't play.
Yeah, like they'll have somebody else replace them because they might not be healthy enough to make it. But yeah, they announced the All-Star teams. I'm cool with the announcements because both Devin Booker and Kevin Durant made it.
Yeah, Devin Booker definitely needed to make it, even over Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually like scared that he wasn't going to make it for a second there, but thank God the voters got it right. Thank God the coaches and the people that vote on that actually know ball instead of people on Twitter who for some reason think Devin Booker sucks. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's really all there is for the NBA right now.
To the other sports.
Yeah, time to get to the meat and potatoes of this show. So,
you know what though? Before we move on, so if I'm a Ravens fan and Orioles fan, right? Obviously, does that mean I have to be a Wizards fan?
I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. So, I mean, I would say so.
Because they're the closest team, though.
Yeah, to Baltimore, because Baltimore doesn't have their own team. So, yeah, it looks like get ready to learn bad basketball, buddy.
I'm gonna get a Jordan Poole jersey.
Jesus Christ,
that's like the best player.
Dude, he's so bad.
So in the NHL, what about the NHL?
The
Stars or not the Stars? That's
God, dude. I forgot this is a hockey podcast. We're supposed to know. NHL, dude. I don't even know if there's a team in Baltimore.
What? Yeah, I got you. No, there's not a team in Baltimore, but I think it would be the Washington team.
Oh, the Capitals. Like right yeah, the Washington
next
Capitals.
To DC.
Yeah. Okay.
What teams?
The Washington Capitals. That's their name.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they won the Stanley Cup a few years ago. So I mean,
that's really all I know.
I
was there.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, day one Caps fan. Yeah, but I mean, I know they've got like Ovechkin, who's like one of the best hockey players. But
okay, so this person says,
oh my God.
I'm looking this up. NHL is the Capitals, and NBA is probably the Wizards.
God, you poor thing.
Okay, so this Reddit post is from 9 years ago, and it says they're talking about the Wizards. You need to be a Wizards fan, and then this person says, "Get in on the Wiz bandwagon before KD comes home." 9 years ago, they're still waiting.
I remember back like in 2016, like when
people
thought
he was going to the Wizards.
Yeah, I was one of those people. I was like, he could low key be a Wizard. Join Wall and Bradley Beal. That would have been a sick team. Could you imagine that?
John Wall and Brad. Oh yeah, dude, I remember those rumors. Yeah, dude. I remember that, dude. I was hoping when I was a diehard Wizards fan back then.
Yeah, you definitely weren't supporting any other teams back then.
No,
just the Wizards. No other teams that start with a W. No, just the Wizards.
All right, so let's hop into the the 8th, right? This Thursday.
Yeah, that's the. Well, before we talk about the awards, I think we should talk about how the.
Coaching. Yeah.
So the head coaching cycle in the NFL is
has
basically
reached new lows.
I mean, it's done basically, but it has reached new lows for
this
some
most
teams.
Recent hire.
Yeah. So let's run. I'm just gonna run over through the head coaches real quick. So for the Seattle Seahawks, they hired Mike Macdonald.
Fucking like, honestly, I was really depressed when I saw this notification, but I'm really happy for the Seahawks because you just got a fucking fantastic coach.
Yeah,
and I'm really jealous. Not that I like necessarily really wanted to see Harbaugh go, but I would have loved to see Mike Macdonald as our head coach. He's the youngest head coach in the NFL. You're gonna have him for a while, and I just think he'll be great. So
yeah, I think it was a good hire for the Seahawks.
I mean, they
Definitely,
went from the oldest head coach to the youngest head coach, so it's like that comes with a big culture change.
yeah, definitely.
So
It's definitely gonna be like a new kind of like change of scenery type thing going
yeah,
on. I like that hire. Now let's get to a head coaching hire that I'm not super like in love with, and that's Dan Quinn.
to the
Yeah, to the Washington Commanders.
commies.
Yeah. It seemed like for like a little bit there that it was gonna be Ben Johnson in this spot. But I guess last second he was like, nah, let me stay in Detroit.
Yeah,
Which I mean, God, Lions fans, you're so lucky that he's staying there because I feel like if you lost him, that offense it wouldn't fall apart, but
I
you
don't
would see.
blame him though for staying.
Yeah, I mean,
Like he probably saw that his options were. I mean, he probably knew like because the Seahawks and Mike McDonald were kind of linked for a while,
yeah.
and I think he kind of knew that. So he was probably like,
It's
well,
like
I have to go to the Commanders.
it's like fuck, dude. It's
Fuck
just the
this.
Commander.
I'll wait a
Yeah.
year.
I mean, yeah, no. I mean, I was shocked at the end of this head coaching cycle seeing that both Ben Johnson and Bobby Slowick stayed with their respective teams. I guess with Bobby Slowick it made sense because it was just. I mean, this was his first year as being the Texans' offensive coordinator, so I'm guessing like a lot of teams just want to see a little bit more, kind of see if he can replicate that success
I
he had
don't know
last year.
though. I mean, to me that gives me enough fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was
But
kind of interesting. I guess
yeah,
I guess he got like a raise over there as the OC. So, I mean, good on him for making more money. And good. I mean, I hope him and CJ Stroud have a lot of success together. So, yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would have thought like if I would have thought Dan Quinn would have been a good fit on the Seahawks,
yeah.
but the
Just because,
Commanders,
yeah. I
I don't
mean,
see it.
I don't know. I just feel like it's weird because it's like you're going from like one defensive head coach to another. And I mean, this isn't me saying that Dan Quinn is like as bad as Ron Rivera is. But I don't know. I like watching a lot of Cowboys games. I would just see them get blown out and be like, this guy's still gonna get head coaching offers. And I don't know.
Yeah, like against the Packer.
Yeah, like against the Packers, against the
How do you get
Bills early in the
promoted after
season.
giving up what 40 to the Packers in the wild card round?
I mean, I don't know.
It's just
Dan
crazy.
Quinn, he's had success as a head coach before, though. I mean, he took the Falcons to the Super Bowl. We won't talk about what happened in that Super Bowl because I don't want to break Falcons fans' hearts. But I mean, he has had success as a head coach.
Definitely.
So it'll be interesting to see. They also made another hire that we'll get into a little bit in a minute here, but yeah,
Oh,
yeah, interesting choice for the Commanders that are trying to go in this new direction. Bringing in Dan Quinn. We'll see what happens, but
can we really quick? Can we talk about the fact that both Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel.
and Pete Carroll.
Well, Pete Carroll we kind of saw because isn't he just staying on the Seahawks as like a.
Well, I don't know about that because I read that, but it seems like he's just kind of gone. So I don't really know about that at all.
Well, then
But
Pete Carroll as well. So all three of these guys not on a team.
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, for Belichick and Pete Carroll, it makes sense just because those guys are really old. And I
Yeah.
think if you're a rebuilding team, you don't want a guy who's like in his 70s
Yeah.
coming,
Exactly.
coming to be the start of your rebuild. So yeah, there really just wasn't a great fit for those two. Yeah,
Now my question. I mean, I kind of liked Bill Belichick with the Falcons, but they went another direction.
yeah,
Now my question is, do you think it was more of a fact that none of the teams wanted Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel, or at least in Bill Belichick's case, they turned it down?
I think for Belichick, it's probably just turned it down. Um, but I don't know. Mike Vrabel like not being a head coach is really weird.
It's kind of crazy to me,
Yeah, because I mean he's
especially on like the Falcons. You know.
yeah, no, I thought it would have made a lot of sense as the Falcons head coach. It would have been really funny to see if he would have brought in. Not going to say his name yet, but if he would have brought him in, that would have been really funny to see. But yeah, it's interesting to see those guys out of the league for I mean at least a year.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because I mean
But
yeah, I mean a lot of the head coaching candidates that are like still out there. I mean I'm really surprised that they're still out there. Like obviously Ben Johnson.
I'm just gonna make a quick ranking. I don't love.
For the head coaching candidates.
Yeah, like there's 8, right? So we
Oh,
had
for the actual like hires.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I gotta remember all of them.
So there's 8. So there's Mike McDonald. There's Jim Harbaugh,
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh,
Dan Quinn, Raheem Morris, Dave Canales or whatever.
Oh yeah, Dave Canales.
Um,
Gerard Mayo.
Gerard Mayo. That was the first one. That was
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, Brian Callahan for the Titans.
Brian Callahan for the Titans. That's who I was forgetting. And and then Antonio Pierce because that was technically.
Yeah, he got promoted.
All right, so let's do a quick ranking. So
yeah. Also, since we're talking about like coordinators and stuff, I also do want to say the Bills promoted Joe Brady from interim to their full-time offensive coordinator. So good for him. Joe Brady, he came in as their.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who's the team again?
The Bills.
Oh, the Bills. That's right.
He's Bills offensive coordinator.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they're just got to stick with him. I think it's a good move because I mean their offense looked awesome when they hired him. So yeah,
I like that move.
Also, the Browns brought in Ken Dorsey as their offensive coordinator, former Bills offensive coordinator. So just a little note on that. It'll be interesting to see that go down. But
so
yeah.
Number one, hold on. Let's list them all out. One more time. So Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
And then Quinn.
Yeah, Dan Quinn.
Callahan.
Yeah, Brian Callahan.
Canales.
Dave Canales.
Morris.
Yeah, Raheem Morris. Not Raheem Mostert.
Mayo.
Yeah, Gerard Mayonnaise.
Him and Will Levis would do great things together. That's all I gotta say. Pierce, and who was the last one? I'm forgetting.
Jim Harbaugh.
Yes. How could I forget
That's the
that
one.
one? That's like the biggest one.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so do you want to go from least liked to our favorite, or do you want to do our favorite to? Should we go like 8 to 1 or 1 to 8?
I say we just start with the favorite here, or what do you want to do?
I was thinking we could do like worst to then get better.
Okay, yeah. Let's do 8 to 1.
Okay, 8 to 1. Okay, so at number 8,
I've got all these names right in front of me, so I'm like semi prepared for this now.
At number 8, I'm gonna go. I think I'll go Dan Quinn. That'd probably be
yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Just because the same reasons you said, they go from a defensive coach to a defensive head coach.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think Dan Quinn's a better coach than Ron Rivera is, but I think you're just putting yourself back in the same situation you were just in.
Yeah.
I'm not like super uber impressed by Dan Quinn, especially the way the Cowboys defense was very like.
I think he was
off and on.
I think he was carried by a lot of the talent that was there.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't love that one.
Yeah.
Now number 7, for my number 7, and this might honestly kind of not shock, but kind of surprise some people. But I don't love it. Raheem Morris to the Falcons.
That's interesting because I actually kind of like that hire.
I don't love it, especially because he's had, if I remember right, he was a head coach for them before, right?
He was the interim.
Was the interim,
yeah.
And
we kind of talked about it when he got hired a couple weeks ago. He was like the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks when they had like Josh Freeman and
like a long ass time
like
ago.
Forever ago. He was like in his early 30s when he did that.
So he's definitely got a lot of head coaching experience.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I just wasn't like, if you told me that the Rams defensive coordinator got promoted, I wouldn't have necessarily for instance, I would say Bobby Slowick is more deserving of getting promoted than Raheem Morris, just because I wasn't super impressed by the Rams defense last year, and I think that if you're the Falcons, you have an opportunity to land like a Bill Belichick or a Mike Vrabel, and I just think those guys would have been better options than this feels like and I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. This just kind of feels like a settle hire almost. You know what I mean? But they didn't have to settle because they were one of the first hires that there was a lot of candidates still. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's funny that you say that. Like the Rams, like you kind of talk about how like the Rams defensive coordinator got this job. I don't know, because I was impressed by Raheem Morris and what he was able to do. Because I mean, you look, like I said, I feel like I've repeated this a lot of times on the show when we talk about the Rams when we do our recaps. But I mean, if you look at that Rams defense, I mean, they're at the beginning of the year there wasn't really a lot of talent on that team. It was basically just Aaron Donald and a bunch of dudes out there. And the fact that he was able to make that like a competent defense was really impressive. And I mean, it was still a really good defense. I mean, they lost Jalen Ramsey, and I thought he did a good job, and I thought he's pretty deserving of this Falcons job. And
I respect that.
yeah, I think it's a solid hire. I think because I mean, it's like, and he's been there before, so he kind of like knows what's going on. Obviously, that was a couple of years ago, but I mean, I think he'll fit in really well here. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Oh, actually, I think he did bring in his coordinators. I just don't remember who they were. I think he brought in
His coordinator.
like I know he brought in like an
Fuck, who
offensive
was it?
coordinator. It was someone from the Rams, obviously. Oh wait, no, I think
It
it
was
was
their QB coach. No.
it might have been. I think I might be thinking of defensive coordinator. Now that I think about it, but I know he brought in his coordinators, both from the Rams, I think. So basically, just poaching from Sean McVay's coaching staff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a solid hire. I wouldn't have him as my number 7. Or is that where you had him? Or you had him as? Oh yeah, because we had Dan
second to
Quinn.
last.
Yeah,
So who's your 7?
my 7.
I mean, honestly, I hope he proves me wrong. I'm not trying to like bash on him. I'm just giving my opinion here. But I think I hope he proves me wrong because seeing like a competent Falcons team next year would be a lot of fun because they have a lot of like exciting players.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, it was actually funny. He was an interview. He was interviewed. I think it was either yesterday or Sunday. And he was basically talking about like, what are some of the guys that you're looking forward to like using on this team on offense? And like he was like, oh yeah, Drake London and Bijan Robinson.
Perfect.
And it's like, yeah,
You already have
Yeah.
a new fan in me.
yeah. It's like, but wait a minute, why did you say Kyle Pitts? Please, man.
Kyle Pitts.
Bro, please,
That's true,
Please,
huh?
please get my guy out of purgatory.
That's
Raheem.
true.
Please,
No one
Raheem.
likes Kyle Pitts
Please.
apparently.
But yeah, for my number 7,
Okay.
I don't know, honestly. Like,
It's like Dan Quinn and then
yeah, it's like it's hard. It's difficult to like rank these guys. I would say I don't know if this is a bad one. I want to say Antonio Pierce.
no, I get that.
And it's not because I don't think he's a good coach. I just honestly a lot of these coaches, I really just don't know too much about them. Like Pierce and Gerard Mayo, I don't know like
What
a ton
they'll
about
do.
them. Yeah, like because Antonio Pierce, like I don't really see him as like a guy who's like scheming up a lot of like plays and stuff and whatnot. Like I just kind of see him as more like
He's a
culture
culture
guy.
hire.
Yeah, he's a culture
Yeah.
guy. Because I mean, you basically saw like Max Crosby. You're like, yo, if you all don't bring him in as a coach, trade me. And they
Yeah,
were like,
exactly.
all right, cool. So they brought him in as a coach. And
props to Max Crosby for doing that though.
yeah, I mean that's a really supportive player. I mean, supporting your coach, that's awesome. And I mean, to be fair though, they were pretty solid down the stretch. Like they weren't good, but I mean, they looked okay. They looked better than when they had Josh McDaniels,
They
obviously.
made a really questionable hire for their coordinators. I can't remember.
No, I think they brought in like a GM.
Their defensive court. Well, they brought in the Chargers GM.
Yeah, like the
who
Chargers.
just got fired because
Yeah.
he didn't do anything, or he just fucked their roster for like the past 10
Yeah.
years, and put him in like the most negative cap ever. But no, it was their coordinators they hired, like their defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
I was like, what? Hold on, let me look. Raiders, because they fired both their coordinators, didn't they?
yeah, probably. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
The offensive coordinator for the yeah, they hired the Bears offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah, it was Getsy, right? Luke Getsy.
That just makes no fucking like.
Yeah,
that
okay.
was head scratching, and then
Yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, I would put him at number 7 just because I don't know, like it kind of gives me like just that vibe of like just being mostly like a vibes guy, like a culture type guy.
they never. I'm sorry, they never got rid of their defensive coordinator. He's Patrick Graham's still there. It was just the offensive coordinator. I was like, what?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they had another candidate in mind. Let's just say.
Oh
that.
yeah. I mean, he was like kind of there, but
Yeah.
I guess not
For
really.
like 10 minutes, he pulled a Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So with my number 6, I'm actually gonna go with Antonio Pierce as well because, the reason being is not necessarily because of Antonio Pierce himself, but because Um, what am I trying to say? Oh, because like you said, Antonio Pierce is not like a Kyle Shanahan. He's not going to go out there and fucking draw up some crazy schemes
Yeah.
and do the math, and he's not that guy. He's gonna
You're not that guy, pal.
he's gonna go out there and have a great culture and know how to. He's gonna be like a leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a guy that his whole team respects. So I think in that case, that's good to have as a head coach. But if you're gonna have that as a head coach, you need to have kick-ass coordinators who can scheme
Yeah.
and can and you bring in a guy who has probably had the most inconsistent fucking offense I've ever seen the past 2 years. Mix that with a quarterback who's not mobile at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously they have a big question at quarterback.
And I just don't see that. So I think that the coordinator hires for the, at least especially like the Luke Getsy, I think that's how you say his name, Luke
Yeah.
Getsy. I think that hire really brings Pierce down for me. Because that's going to be the guy who he's going to have to rely on to get this offense moving.
Yeah.
So with my number 6, I'm going Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
Who's your number 6?
For my number 6, it's kind of a toss up between, for me, it's between either Gerard Mayo or Brian Callahan. And I think I'm gonna go Brian Callahan just because I don't know. He just kind of gives off like that vibe that he's just like not like suitable as a head coach. I don't know why. That's just like the gut feeling.
Damn.
I mean, like I don't know, like because I mean, there's a lot of guys that are just like better as a coordinator than they are as a head
Yeah,
coach.
I get that.
And I don't know. He just seems like one of those guys. And I mean, you're working with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T Higgins, Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, all those guys to working with like Will Levis, DeAndre Hopkins, and whoever the fuck the wide receiver 2 is over there. Oh, probably Traylon Burks. And I mean, you might get to work with Derrick Henry. Who knows? So I don't know. I'm just not super like sold on this hire as kind of like really out of left field. I really thought they were going to go with like Bobby Slowick or like I guess just Bobby Slowick really. So I guess this is
That would have
just
been a
kinda-
good hire
yeah.
for the Titans. Take a division.
Yeah, but I mean that's really just I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm not super sold on it.
I get that. So now we're moving on to, so those were our bottom 3. Now we're moving on to our number 5. My number 5 is I'm gonna go with Gerard Mayo from the Patriots.
Yeah. Who'd you say was your 6?
My 6 was Antonio Pierce.
Oh yeah.
So I
Yeah.
have Quinn,
Raheem Morris,
Raheem Morris, and
okay.
Pierce now so far.
Okay.
So number 5, I'm going with Gerard Mayo from the Patriots. And honestly, just like you said, I know nothing about him. This is kind of like a safe spot for me because I don't think he'll be the worst hire because like I think his floor is like probably the middle of the pack of these
Yeah.
coaches. But his ceiling could be a lot higher. But I think that I just don't know enough about him because what he's going to do is he's going to change the culture. The Patriots haven't had a new head coach in like over 20 years.
Yeah, like a quarter of a century
Like
basically.
before I've been alive. We've
Yeah.
both been alive. So this will definitely bring like a different team, a different atmosphere to the team, and that could either be really good or it could be bad. I'm leaning towards good. I think it'll be perfect for them. But I just don't know if he's. To me, it's almost like he's in like the same boat as Antonio Pierce,
Yeah.
where he's more of like a culture hire than a, what do you want to call it?
Like more like a guy who's like scheming up plays and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like he's
Yeah.
in the same boat as a Pierce, where he's gonna need like good coordinators. He's gonna need good people by his side
Like
who know how
he's
to.
more like a I don't know if this is like the right term for it, but he's kind of like a CEO type coach. Where like
Yeah,
like he's not like running everything, but he's kind of just like
he's like making sure the vibes are good.
yeah.
So I think that I think it's a good hire for sure. I mean, I feel like they should have taken their time at least to interview some candidates. It kind of seemed like they were just set on their guy, and
Yeah, no, they
They just
kind
fucking-
of did rush it.
but
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, he was my he'll be my number 5. Was it my number 5? Yeah, I think he'd be my number 5 as
'cause
well.
Callahan was your 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I do kind of like this hire just because he's been a part of the Patriots, like what it seems like for forever. So
Yeah, he definitely knows the team and the players.
yeah,
and
so
everything.
like I don't know, like if it's gonna be like a huge like I don't know if they're gonna go in like a huge different direction to what like Belichick was doing. but I do, yeah, no, I like him as like a culture hire, and I think he's going to be a guy that just kind of brings the team together a lot more. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it'll be interesting to see how their offseason looks because I mean, I don't know. There's like, I mean, I hope to God this doesn't happen, but I mean, there's hopes they might like go for like Marvin Harrison Jr. and stuff like that. Personally for them, I think quarterback would be the move, but um,
Yeah, if you're hearing this, Patriots quarterback.
yeah. Hey, Gerard, please do me a big favor and don't take Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3. Thank you.
But seriously though, yeah, Mac Jones is. I don't know. They need to figure that out first. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's a really odd spot to be in because I mean, their skill position players are pretty bad too.
their whole offense is horrible.
Yeah, it's just like it's Ramondre and then like nobody else, but yeah. Yeah, I think because I mean he's kind of more like a defensive minded coach. I mean, played linebacker for the Patriots. He was their inside linebackers coach for the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I just think it's like it's a really yeah, it was really like a safety net type of hire is
Mm-hmm.
what I kind of get from it. And I mean that's not a bad thing at all. You're kind of going with like a guy that obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean I don't really see the problem with that at all. Um,
So that was your 5, right? I think we both
yeah,
had the same 5 then.
yeah, we had the same 5. We both had Gerard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so moving on, number 4, um, I have Brian Callahan now.
Okay.
I kind of like it, honestly, kind of switching it up because I feel like Mike Vrabel is a very conservative, uh, like safe type of coach where he just ran the ball, and which is good. But I feel like Callahan might kind of bring a little bit of that Bengals offense
Yeah,
kind of approach to the Titans, which is what they've been needing for a long time. So I feel like if you're firing Vrabel because you need like a switch up in terms of the pace of play your team plays at, and how your team looks, I feel like Callahan was a good hire for that. And then
yeah.
also he brought over his QB coach from the Bengals to be his
Okay.
offensive coordinator, which I really like as well.
Yeah,
Like bringing your guys in
I didn't see that, but okay, that's a good
because
hire.
yeah. He brought over his the Bengals QB coach to be his offensive coordinator, which is I think a good hire because obviously Joe Burrow has been a fantastic quarterback, but then obviously what he did with Jake Browning last year, he was one of the best probably backup
Yeah,
quarterbacks, if not the best, like consistently, because you had a lot of backup quarterbacks last year that just like had 2 to 3 games where they like had an insanity run and then just fell off the face of the earth. And I feel like
hey Josh
Browning,
Dobbs, how you doing?
yeah, holy shit. But I feel like Browning was one of those that just like was consistently like solid. And so yeah, I like that hire. So he's number 4 for me. I definitely think there are better hires than that, but I think that I liked it for the Titans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you make a lot of good points. Honestly, I just really didn't know too much about Callahan. That's why I have him
That's the
so
only
low.
thing.
But I think for my number 4, um, I'm gonna go with Dave Canales for the
Okay.
Panthers. Um, just because I mean, I it's a really intriguing hire. I mean, you saw how he worked with Baker Mayfield last year, and then Geno Smith the year before. Um, I mean, he turned those guys, basically kind of like revived both of their careers a little bit, and so it'll be really interesting to see how he does with the quarterback with the talent of Bryce Young. Um, and I mean, he
Yeah.
was number 1 overall pick, obviously won a Heisman. Really talented quarterback. I just really think you need to get him some weapons, Carolina.
Holy shit, yeah. I
Um,
think receiver needs to be the number one uh
yeah, I mean,
thing for them in the second round because they don't have a
yeah, I
first
mean,
round pick.
Yeah, I mean, if we were doing like 2 round mock drafts, I think we would all like mock like receiver, receiver, receiver,
Or
receiver.
offensive line, honestly. Their offensive line is atrocious as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I,
don't know
it's
what's
just,
up
I don't
with
even know
that.
where you start with this team.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm interested to see like just how he works with Bryce Young, obviously. And I mean, I think he'll be a solid head coach as long as like David Tepper kind of keeps his hands away from the team. Because I mean, just like I don't know, that shit's really annoying.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Also, the Panthers brought in a new GM. They went with like an in-house hire. I forgot who his name was, but I mean, I don't know. Seems like it might be a solid hire. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of the Canales hire. Because like I said, his work with the quarterbacks for the last 2 years really intrigues me, and so I'm honestly excited to see how he works with Bryce Young, especially if they get him like at least a weapon out there.
A
So
weapon, yeah.
yeah, just something besides 80-year-old Adam Thielen. So, yeah, that's gonna be my number 4.
Yeah, I agree with you. So my number 3, and this might kind of surprise you a little bit, but my number 3 is going to go to John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, to the Chargers. That's going to be my number 3.
Okay.
And the reason being is I really like it, of course, because this is going to be the best quarterback Harbaugh has coached. And I think he's got a talented roster, but I just feel like the situation he's walking in isn't ideal. First of all, I feel like whenever we see these really big, flashy coach hires, half the time it doesn't work out, and
Yeah.
I feel like it gets a lot of publicity, and then it's just kind of like mediocre. That's just kind of the feeling I get. I think Jim Harbaugh will do good as the Chargers head coach,
Yeah.
but I just feel like the situation he's walking in isn't ideal. I mean, the Chargers have like one of the worst cap situations in the entire NFL. So there's like not much you can do about that as a head coach unless you're running the roster. So I just feel like the situation he's walking in isn't like as amazing as people think, but I still really like him and Herbert together. And obviously he used to play for the Chargers, so he's kind of a culture guy as well. But for some of those reasons and just it's just like a incline I get, you know what I mean? Or what, I don't know if that's the right word for that, but the feeling I get.
Yeah.
I
No,
feel like
like
I'm putting him at 3.
kind of like how I feel with like Callahan.
Yeah.
I kind of get that. Um, I mean, I'm definitely spoiler. I have Harbaugh as my number 1, but I'll get into
Okay.
that. But yeah, so for my number 3, this is where I'm gonna have Raheem Morris.
Okay.
Just because I think, I mean, moving away from the disaster that was like the last 3 years, with an offensive minded head coach. I don't know. I like this kind of change of direction. You're going back to somebody that you know that's been there before, and I think it's gonna be a really good fit. And I don't know. It's interesting to see how he works with the defense because I know the offense was bad, obviously, but I mean you had Ritter at quarterback. So I mean it can only get better from there. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he works with like a lot of guys on the defense, like AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, and obviously I think he'll definitely be looking to draft an edge rusher in the draft for their number 8 pick if they decide to keep it. I don't know, they might trade it or something. But yeah, I just like this hire because it's a well established defensive guy. He's had head coaching experience, and he's worked with a lot of players. Even I mean Jalen Ramsey said like he's like the best, gonna be like the best coach in the league, and I mean getting that seal of approval from one of the best players in the league like that definitely does a lot for you. And so I don't know, I'm very intrigued by it, and I think it'll be a good hire. I think it'll be a good long term hire for the Falcons.
So my top 2 are both long term hires that I think will very much pay off. My number 2, I don't know why. I just really like this hire. Dave Canales
Okay.
to the Panthers. He's a young head coach. And what he did with the Buccaneers last year, I just think was fantastic. He took
I mean, their offense improved and they lost Tom Brady.
yeah,
Like-
it's
like
like
long-
how
long-
the fuck
long
do you
story
do
short,
that? How do
yeah.
you do that? And you make Baker Mayfield play better, almost better than Tom Brady did last year.
Their numbers are basically like they're damn near the same.
They damn near the
It's
same,
really
and
it's
Baker's like
crazy.
a little bit better,
Yeah.
which is just crazy to me. So I think that when you take that and you take a guy who can turn a situation that you think is going to be a lot worse and make it better, and you put him on the Panthers, who probably have the worst situation in the entire fucking league.
Yeah. Good lord.
I think that that's a good hire. I think that's probably one of the better hires you could make if you want a guy who's going to stick with the team for a long time, who's going to stick with the young players for a long time and create a culture in Carolina. I think Canales is your guy. So I really like that hire. The only thing that what's the word? Just sets me back about this, that concerns me about this. It's 2 words. David Tepper.
Yeah.
You're working for the worst owner in the entire league, and it's not even close. So I think that that's the only thing that could set him back, and it's not even something that he can control. So, I kind of feel for him, but I feel like he'll overcome it. And I think he'll be a good head coach. And if he doesn't, then he doesn't. But I really like the direction that the Panthers are going here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so we're kind of in this. We're kind of in the same. We have the same opinion about Canales. There's some other head coaches here that I just value a little bit more. So yeah, I mean,
I think I know who your top two is.
yeah. So for my number two, I'm gonna go with Mike McDonald, and I mean, I think this is a great hire for the Seahawks. I mean, obviously the best Seahawks teams are known for just elite defense. And I mean, you're getting a defensive coordinator who,
Fantastic.
yeah, I mean, you saw what he did last year. I mean, Jesus Christ, like that Ravens defense was insane. And I think, I mean, he'll be able to work with guys like Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon on the secondary there. And I'm really excited to see what this team can do. I mean, I know Bobby Wagner isn't as good as he was, and I know obviously he's not as good as Roquan Smith is, but I mean, you're still having that kind of like that elite inside linebacker. I mean, maybe he can just, I mean, make Bobby Wagner a little bit better in the twilight of his career. But I really do, I do like this hire a lot because I mean, you just look at what Mike McDonald was able to do with the talent that the Ravens had, and I mean, really, I mean, you kind of just remember that Chiefs game and just how basically like dominant their defense was for that entire second half. And I mean, you got to be feeling really good if you're the Seahawks with this hire because I think this will work out really well. Obviously, like you said, one of the probably the youngest head coach in the league.
He is, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, obviously, I mean, if all goes well, he'll stick around there for a really long time. So I mean, you're setting yourself up for success really well here for the Seahawks. So yeah, I like it a lot.
I like it too. And that's my number one. So my number one is Mike McDonald. It really hurts me to see him go, but I'm honestly kind of happy he went to the Seahawks. I'm kind of a secondhand Seahawks fan. You know that, just literally because of
Zach Charbonnet.
Zach Charbonnet. So I really like the hire, and I think this team went out and drafted two really good running backs 2 years in a row, and so they're going to probably be a running team, and I feel like that'll work well with the way Mike McDonald coaches, because he's been a defensive coach for so long. He's obviously not going to have the best offensive mind, and I feel like they're not going to, like I said earlier, they're not going to be like Kyle Shanahan out there freaking drawing up these formations and plays that
Yeah.
open up the passing game. I think they're going to be a running, bruising team, and they have good running backs for it. And I think if you draft some offensive linemen, then I think this team will go places. It's like they're not even really rebuilding. They're kind of like in a weird
They're kind of like a retool, I would say.
Yeah.
Like I really just think they need to kind of like sort out their quarterback situation and then they'll be fine.
yeah.
Um
I think Geno Smith was a cool story for the past 2 years, but I think it might be time to
yeah.
move on.
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna go with like Drew Lock or I don't know what you're gonna do there.
No, I don't.
It's just it's a weird situation to be in.
But we'll finish off with your number one.
Yeah, so my number one is going to be Jim Harbaugh for the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, I really do think that this is the exact type of change that they needed going from Brandon Staley to Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he's a player's coach. You saw that when he was coaching at Stanford before he joined the 49ers and when he coached in Michigan.
He's kind of like the best of both worlds with all these coaching hires. He's not only like a player's culture coach, but he's also like
Yeah, I mean,
a good schemer and play caller.
yeah. I mean, really, I mean, you look at this situation you look at the hire. I mean, it's like, what's not to like? I mean, you have a guy who's, I mean, he works well with players, obviously. So, I mean, that's how you have success in college. And I mean, he's had success in the NFL. I mean, literally his first year in the NFL, I mean, he won 13 games with the 49ers, and they had like a 7-game improvement from last year. That's insane. And I mean, I don't know if they're going to have that big of an improvement with the Chargers, but I mean, they have
I
to
think
be
they'll
better.
make the playoffs.
It'll be interesting to see.
It's like a 7 seed.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think that this is just, I think it's a really good hire because, like I said, you have a well-established head coach in the NFL already, and I mean, he works well with the players. I mean,
I think the Chargers are going to be like one of those teams next year that is going to be like one of the hardest teams to justify their record.
Like to predict, basically.
Yeah, like their over under is going to be like impossible because they could either go like 4-13 or like they could like their ceiling's so high, but their
Like
floor is also so high.
yeah, like I could see them winning like 12 games, or I could see them winning like 6 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
those will be yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only iffy thing that I'm worried about is we did see the Chargers hire Greg Roman. But to be fair,
As a Ravens fan, good fucking luck,
yeah,
dude.
to be fair though, he was not hired as their offensive coordinator. I think he'll probably just help with the run game. And I think
Who's
if you're
the
bringing,
offensive coordinator?
I don't know, but
I thought he was. What
yeah,
the
no,
fuck?
when I sent you guys that tweet, it did not say that he was going to be their offensive coordinator. So I mean, if you're a Chargers fan, you gotta be saying thank God, because you do not want Justin Herbert out there running read option after read option. This dude is not Colin Kaepernick, so don't do that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a really predictable thing that he was going to bring him in because Greg Roman was their OC back in San Francisco. So it's really funny. Yeah, I didn't know he's worked with the Harbaugh for so long. I was really
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
He got hired.
yeah. I like looked that up. And
That's
I was,
probably why he lasted so long on the Ravens.
yeah.
Because
Like he kind of like gradually like made his way like through the Ravens like coaching tree. Like he didn't just start off with like the OC.
no, but I remember when he was OC,
Yeah.
3 years in a row, right, we were all like chanting "Fire Roman, fire," and it never fucking happened. And it was probably because he's got he's buddy with Harbaugh, and
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to tell your friend like you kind of suck.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So good to not bring him as the OC, because I just don't think that would work. But if you're bringing him in as like as kind of like to like coordinate the run game, I think that's a really good hire, actually. So, yeah.
So let's talk about two more hires, and then let's get into the awards.
Yeah. So
Just really quick. So
so you're talking about the two offensive coordinators that were hired over the last week. So let's start off with the Washington Commanders here. Actually, no. Let's go like in order of like when they were hired. So the first one that was hired, actually. So the Pittsburgh Steelers brought in former Falcons head coach Arthur Smith to be their offensive coordinator.
oh man, good luck.
Otto, what are your feelings about this? How you feeling?
Well, what did I do? What was the first thing I did when I saw this?
So you took a screenshot of the hire, and then you sent it to our group chat, and then you sent a text saying ha 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 in all caps. That's the first thing you did.
I will tell you, in a dark week of being a Ravens fan, this was the one shining light. This was the one hand reaching out of the sky, the one pie in the sky, the one glimpse of hope that I had. And the one thing that just made me happy, because as this, like, I don't understand it, because a Steelers team that's been doing the same thing for the past 5 years, just being mediocre, running the ball, doing nothing. Not only do you not switch up with Tomlin, you bring in a guy who only runs the ball with the worst weapons possible.
Dude, I'm sorry, but going from Matt Canada to Arthur Smith is so fucking funny, dude.
It's so depressing, and
So
I could not
funny.
be happier for
No,
as a
I'm
Ravens fan.
I'm like a top 5 Steelers hater. So honestly, I'm just like, I think it's hilarious.
I fucking wish. Do you know how funny it would be if that shit came? Because I want to say it literally happened like right after we filmed our episode last week.
it basically was.
Probably was the
yeah.
same day, and
I think it was the morning after. I want to say.
could you imagine how fucking funny it'd be if like, because this is now a week later, I've already processed it,
Yeah.
so my reaction isn't as great. But like, if I saw that notification pop up
Like live on the show.
mid-pod,
That would have been awesome.
I would have laughed my ass off. So
I
mean-
can't wait for that to happen. Just like some crazy shit happens while we record.
well, you'd have to let me know because my phone's recording right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I should probably check, make sure it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so honestly, hilarious, and
yeah.
I didn't see that coming. Did you?
I didn't know what direction they were going to go with their offensive coordinator, but I didn't think they were going to pick Arthur Smith. And at first I was like, ha 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 ha, Darnell Washington, get ready to lead this team in receiving yards for your tight ends and all this stuff, and kind of like joking around. But I mean, the more
Cameron
I thought,
Hayward's about to be the MVP of this offense.
yeah, I mean, the more I like thought about it, the more I was like, it's really not the worst hire ever. Just because, like, I mean, we've seen Arthur Smith work as an offensive coordinator before, and it worked. And I just like
Was
it's.
that Arthur Smith or was that Vrabel though? It's like because
Well, I mean,
we
he kind
saw
of.
him just shit the bed in Atlanta.
Yeah, but I mean, when Arthur Smith left, it wasn't really like the Titans were that awesome, you know.
That's true.
So I think he's kind of. I really do think he's just one of those guys that is not suitable as a head coach. It is just like a coordinator is like fine for him, and
I can't wait to see him in a Steelers hat and shirt next year. It's gonna be so funny. I can't fucking like. Is it not like just
No,
destiny that
it's
the guy I
hilarious.
hate the most and probably in the entire NFL
goes to the
goes to
Steelers.
the Steelers?
No, it's I love it, dude.
Oh man, that's hilarious, dude.
I mean, I will say this: I think the Steelers' run game is going to be really good next year because I mean they have a really good running back room with Najee Smith and Jalen Warren, and I mean you saw Arthur Smith and the success he had with Derrick Henry in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
We'll see.
I think they'll be good there, but I don't know. It's a really interesting hire
Because like another thing too is that Titans offense was good, but I mean, so you also had Derrick Henry in his prime. It's kind of hard to not be a good run coordinator.
yeah, I
when
mean
you have Derrick Henry in his prime.
I don't know. Like I'm not gonna say it's a good hire, but I'm not gonna say it's like this like otherworldly terrible hire. Like they just brought in like the worst coordinator you've ever seen in your lives. Like kind of how we were acting when they immediately made it.
I mean, I think Luke Getsy was arguably worse, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It just didn't make sense for the Raiders. Like I don't know.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, definitely an interesting hire. But
All right, so this next one.
yeah. So next one, so the Washington Commanders, so Dan Quinn's first order of business was to bring in former Arizona Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury to be their offensive coordinator. Why? Why do these teams do this? Why do these teams look at like these head coaches that are like, "Oh, you were really bad as a head coach. Let's bring you in to be our coordinator." I don't understand why teams like you see this in like the NBA too. They just bring in these coaches that have had like previous like lack of success, Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers.
And they just like they're like, "Yeah, no, we're going to win now." It's like, "No, bring in these new fresh minds. Like I want to see like somebody new.
Yeah.
Like I want to see what they cook up." No, dude. Now if you're a Commanders fan, you got to watch fucking Terry McLaurin run 12 screen passes a game, dude. Dude, it's so funny cuz like literally when they made this hire, I just saw people posting like route trees that DeAndre Hopkins used to have. Oh my god, dude. It's like it was really that bad. And it's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
I wish I had some of the screenshots in front of me because I would show them to you because it's fucking hilarious.
Well, Cliff Kingsbury is even a worse example because the only success he had was in college.
He didn't even succeed in college. He had an under 500 record.
In
He just
Texas Tech?
Yes, he just happened to coach
Oh,
Patrick
shit.
Mahomes. That's the only reason he has a head coaching job at all. Is because like, oh, you coach Mahomes? Okay, well, I mean, I guess that means you could be a good head coach. How does that even fucking work? Like, you got to be the most idiotic GM to ever even think that, Steve Keim. Like,
The Commanders are the commander, and the fact that I mean, even Cliff Kingsbury doesn't make sense. You go from an already shitty team in the Raiders to an even shittier team
So funny, dude.
in the Commanders, and now we're just gonna have to watch. Most likely, maybe Sam Howell throw like
Well,
1,000 screen passes.
I mean, there's been like a lot of talk because he was a quarterbacks coach for USC. It's like they're thinking maybe they might trade up to get Caleb Williams, but I don't know. I just I really don't see that happening.
all right, should we jump into awards?
Yeah, I would say now would be a good time to jump into the awards real quick. Hold on, I just want to pull up and see if I can see some of these route trees real quick. Like, no, it wasn't. No, there was like a really bad one. Was it 2021? Oh shit! Just so I can show you real quick. And I mean, yeah. Like, look at this, dude. Look at these like short ass routes, dude. Like, why? It's so stupid. Like, just oh my god, man.
Poor DeAndre.
Yeah, I think 2022 was like the worst of it though. Yeah, like look at this, bro. what is this? Like, look at
You
all
have
these
one of
like
the best
short ass passes, man.
You have one of the best deep threat receivers in the entire NFL, and you're just throwing.
Like screen pass and like these like short ass routes. It's like, no, you have fucking DeAndre Hopkins. Air that shit out, dog. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll succeed as a coordinator. I don't think he will. But yeah, good luck, Commanders, with whatever the fuck you're gonna do with Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay, so
Let's hop into the awards.
February 8th, this Thursday, we have our NFL awards going on. And so what I did was I predicted the who I think will win, and then I also predicted who, or I'm sorry, I predicted who like will win. Like,
Okay.
how do I want to word this? Like, who I think they'll pick.
Yeah.
But then for some, well, only two of them.
You went
I
for
put
you went for who you would go for.
who I think should get it.
Okay. Okay. I just went with who I would go for.
Okay. But let's start with MVP.
I think we're both gonna have the same guy.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I mean, you can talk about Lamar Jackson.
I don't think he really cares about this award, honestly. It's like cool for him, but I know he just really wanted to go to the Super Bowl, so it really sucks. But what he did in the regular season cannot be
Underestimated.
underestimated. Yeah,
Yeah.
And what was, admittedly a down year for quarterbacks. Even Patrick Mahomes was not good this year.
Yeah.
I think Lamar just stood out from the rest of the pack where he just did the most on the football field. Like he changed games himself. I mean, even in the playoffs, I know he lost, but this man threw a pass to himself. Like he is the definition of fuck it, I'll just throw a pass to like
Fine, I'll do it myself.
I'll do it myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he definitely is deserving of this award. He also, led the best regular season team in in football. So I think when you do that, easy MVP.
Yeah.
But should we move on to offensive player of the year? We might have different people here.
Yeah, I mean, we very well might. Who do you have?
McCaffrey.
Okay, yeah, no, we both have McCaffrey.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
I think he's very deserving.
Did you think I was gonna go Tyreek?
I guess, or I kind of, for some reason, I kind of had a thought of CD
CD Lamb. I
Yeah.
mean, I have a big
because
CD
you
Lamb,
were a big CD Lamb fan.
but no, not enough to give him offensive player of the year, unfortunately.
I think McCaffrey's very well deserving of it.
Yeah, I mean, the way that he's able to just kind of change that whole 49ers offense.
Oh, he's probably the only running back in the NFL that you can't replace.
yeah, he's
No disrespect to any other running backs, but
yeah. Sorry, Nick Chubb, but like,
yeah, well, like you saw it a lot this year. Nick Chubb, Zach Moss with Jonathan Taylor, like.
yeah,
But I think McCaffrey, you take him off that offense, you're smoked.
I mean, to be fair, they've had success in the running game before they had McCaffrey, but I mean, the
But not
success
like this.
the success they have now, it's like otherworldly. So, yeah, no, I get that.
Defensive player of the year. This one,
Honestly, I really didn't know who to go with for this award. Because there really wasn't a guy that kind of like stood out, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, there was two candidates for me, and one of them, both of them, I picked for different reasons. One of them I think should win it based on just like what doesn't show on the stat sheet, like just based on impact based. I think this person should win it.
Yeah.
But then the other person was more statistical, and I feel like the voters will go for more statistical, definitely.
Yeah.
But my pick was T.J. Watt, who I think will win it because of statistics. He led the NFL in sacks, if I remember right. I think so.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that.
But he also did this missing. Did he miss any games? I feel like he missed a couple games.
TJ Watt.
Or maybe that was last year.
I think he did miss like a game or two down the stretch, like at the end of the year.
Let's see here. Game log. He actually no, he didn't miss a game in the regular season.
Hold on.
Yeah, he didn't. He played all 17 games, so never mind. But he still.
I think he missed their game against the Bills. In the
He
playoffs.
missed the playoff
That's
game,
what
yeah.
he missed. Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I went with somebody else for my defensive player of the year. I went with Myles Garrett.
yeah, See, that's my other candidate.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's just me being like, I think this is really just voter fatigue for me. I'm not even a voter. I just think somebody else should get it besides TJ Watt. And I
I
mean,
get that.
I just think, I think Myles Garrett really is like the most impactful player in the NFL.
Yeah.
And
100%.
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of comparing him and TJ stats right now. I mean, TJ did have a better season, but I'm still gonna go with Myles Garrett just because
The thing about like defensive players is it's hard to you can't use statistics to judge how good they are.
it's
Sometimes.
yeah, no, like I mean, you have to look at like some weird like fucking next gen numbers to like kind of really see like the actual impact they have. Like if you look at like pressure rate and all that other garbage.
Yeah,
I mean, I shouldn't say garbage, but all
'cause,
that other
like,
stuff.
Trayvon Diggs has shown us that just because you have 1,000 interceptions doesn't mean you're the best corner in the league.
Yeah, I mean, he allowed like the most yards I
And
think that year.
this might be a hot take, but I kind of feel like it's the same for sacks because Myles Garrett could have less sacks, but if you're putting pressure on the quarterback constantly throughout the game, that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but that is huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like Myles Garrett had more of an impact like that. So I feel like, yeah, impact base Myles Garrett is definitely deserves it.
I think Myles Garrett really I think he impacted how the Browns defense played more than how TJ Watt impacted the Steelers defense, if that makes sense. I just feel like he's just the more impactful player this year.
Yeah, I agree. Offensive rookie of the year. We'll probably have the same for this, but man, I wish we could give this out to two people.
I think
wish we
we might have different people here, maybe.
Okay, then we probably do. I really wish we could split this award.
Me too. Like if there was a time to do like a offensive rookie of the year, this would definitely be the
Didn't
time.
they do that before in the NBA?
They did that with the
with
NBA
rookie
like
of the year?
like 1999. It was like Steve Francis and somebody else. I don't remember who.
I mean, if the time's the time, now's the time, because on one hand you have a guy who was considered for MVP at one point during the season, and took a horrible what we thought would be a bottom feeder to the playoffs, to the divisional round. And on the other hand, you have a guy who was the best rookie receiver of all time. I don't want to hear any comparisons. The last guy to put up numbers like that played in like the fucking 1800s,
like the 60s.
So
Yeah.
but I'm going with CJ Stroud
Okay.
because keep in mind, I'm going based off of who I think will get voted.
That's fair. If I was doing that, I would probably go with CJ Stroud as well.
But you went Puka?
I went with Puka Nacua.
That's fair.
And I mean, this is partially me just like seeing like, and honestly, the NFL has been pretty good about this the last couple of years, but I remember most of the time, offensive rookie of the year would literally just go to the best rookie quarterback a lot of the time. And it was really frustrating to see. But I mean, I think the last couple of years, because I wasn't last year, but I remember Jamar won it. And I think Jefferson might have won rookie of the year. It was either him or Herbert. I don't remember that. But I mean, I'm just so impressed by Puka Nacua. And I mean, this isn't like in a narrative award at all, but I mean, you kind of compare, like, you kind of look at like where he was drafted and like what he was expected to do. And I mean, what he was able to accomplish in his rookie year, basically having like the best rookie season for a wide receiver ever. Just insanely impressive. And I mean, this is like, I'm not trying to take away anything CJ Stroud, because I mean, I was kind of the guy on this pot. Like, I'm not trying to like gloat or anything, but I was kind of the guy on this pot that said like, this guy should really be getting MVP votes. And he really had an awesome year, especially for a rookie quarterback. I mean, he's already one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the league, I'm sure of it. And it's just, I don't know. It's really just me saying like the stats that Puka put up and being like, I think that's a better wide receiver season.
Ridiculous.
Than like, yeah, it's insane. And then you compare that to like what CJ Stroud did. And I mean, he had a great year, but I don't know. I guess I was just more impressed by what Puka Nacua did.
Puka Nacua was also more consistent, I feel like.
I mean,
they were both consistent, but I feel like there was a time where like when CJ Stroud was concussed.
Yeah, he missed like 2 games. Yeah.
It kind of opened up the window for Puka.
I mean,
but I still think it's Stroud.
I mean, damn, I'm looking at Stroud's stats right now. I mean, 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in 15 games.
As a rookie.
Yeah, 64% completion rate. I mean, what did he do on the ground? I'm sure. Let me see. 167 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, not that crazy, but I mean, he is more of like a pocket passer. So, but I mean, yeah, great year from both of these guys. And I think it's really gonna make it really difficult for the voters. I'm sure it really did make it difficult for the voters to decide who should really get this award, because now I'm looking at Puka stats.
Fucking almost 1,500 yards.
Almost 1,500 yards, 6 touchdowns, over 100 receptions.
I feel like he had way more than 6 touchdowns. It's really weird.
I mean, just insane numbers, dude.
Let's move on to one that's not as competitive. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I didn't really know where to go with this, but looking at the stats and everything and kind of doing some more research, I went with Will Anderson from the Texans. I think the Texans will kind of pull a Jets 2 years in a row and get the Offensive Rookie and Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jalen Carter was definitely running away with it for a while. Because we did, like, I remember mid-season we did this.
Yeah, we both had Jalen Carter.
And we did Jalen Carter, but I feel like, just like the Eagles, kind of fell off a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say, I mean, he still had a fine year. I just think he kind of trailed off a little bit. Yeah, like kind of how the Eagles did.
So I think I'm giving it to Will Anderson. I just think it would also be cool if they had both the offensive and defensive rookie of the year. That'd be
No,
but I feel like he was really good. Will Anderson was really good this year.
He had a good year. But it's funny because you both have 2 Texans taking home the rookie of the year. I have 2 Rams taking.
Do you really?
Yeah, because for my defensive rookie of the year, I went with Kobe Turner.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was a deep nose tackle, out of Richmond and Wake Forest. And 3rd round pick. I mean, dude, the Rams are so good at just finding like gems, like in those, like, not in the 1st round, but like just those later rounds. It's like insane. But so he played a full year. He had 9 sacks, 29 tackles, on the year. For a nose tackle, that's incredible, especially as a rookie nose tackle. That's incredible. And I don't know. That's who I would vote for. And I wanted to put him there because I feel like a lot of people are kind of just giving this award to Will Anderson and not really kind of looking at the statistics and not really looking at, like, I don't know, they're not really like putting a lot of, I don't want to say effort, but just kind of like, they're just kind of saying, oh, this is easily Will Anderson. But I really do think that Kobe Turner is super, super deserving of this award. And that's who I would vote for, just because kind of the same thing with Puka and Stroud. I think his impact as a defensive tackle was more impactful as Will Anderson as a edge rusher this year. But yeah, I mean, really, if you really look at it, there's like, it's a really like competitive year for both rookie of the year races.
Yeah, when I said it wasn't as competitive, I meant more like, I just feel like there wasn't, like, offensive rookie of the year.
You didn't hear a lot of names.
Yeah, you have these guys like just jumping off the page, whereas defensive rookie of the year, I feel like,
is a lot more quiet. I understand that. Yeah.
But let's see here. I think they're both very close.
Yeah, I do think Will Anderson will win it, but like I said, if it was me, I'd go with Turner. That's what I'd vote for.
Okay, let's go comeback player of the year. So this is one of the ones that I have. Actually, the last 2 awards, comeback player of the year and coach of the year, I have who I think will win it and who I think deserves it. Comeback player of the year, who do I think is going to win it? It's going to be Damar Hamlin. Who I think should win it is Joe Flacco. 100%. A guy who was written off, hasn't played football in forever. And when people were saying that Joe Flacco got signed by the Browns, there were no expectations whatsoever. Let's just say that. And then you do that and you clinch a playoff and you rest Joe Flacco in week 7. Like, if you would have told me that the Browns were resting Joe Flacco in week 18 because they already clinched a playoff spot and Deshaun Watson was out 4 or 5 games in, I would have told you you're smoking crack. So the fact that he did that, probably the best story this year. I feel like even over Josh Dobbs.
Man, fucking Josh Dobbs, bro.
No, Joe
Still
Flacco,
talking about Dobbs.
comeback player of the year, 100%. But I think you're very right. I think they'll give it to Damar Hamlin. Or I mean, you said this a
Yeah, I said this a
little bit
couple
ago.
episodes ago.
But I think they'll give it to Damar Hamlin just because of the story, and
I mean, yeah, that's a
a
pretty big deal.
it is a big deal. But it's like, let's give it to a guy who actually did anything.
Well, here's the thing with comeback player of the year. It's because I think you're thinking as if it's like kind of like a most improved player type thing. You know what I'm saying? Because like you saw a lot of
It
people
kind
say
of
like,
is though. Like Geno Smith got it. He was like I
well,
feel like he was a good comeback player of the year.
well, I mean that's just because like, well, when he won it, nobody else died. Like nobody else died on the field, and then came back and played. And I mean, I'm seeing people say like maybe Brees Hall should get consideration because I mean he came back from a torn ACL and had almost 1,000 yards. But I mean it's like
No,
we've seen players come back from a torn ACL and
I-
play better. We've literally never seen a player die die and then play again. And I mean like it's a weird award to vote on.
it is.
'Cause-
It is
Because I really do think with this year and like this whole like kind of like I guess the outburst of like because Damar Hamlin's gonna win it. Let's be honest. That's who I have for mine
everyone
as
knows
well.
he's gonna win.
Yeah, and I mean that's who I would have voted for because I mean like I said, fucking died and whatever. But I really do think that with the discourse that we've seen for this award, I really do think the NFL should also add a most improved type player award, like alongside the comeback player of the year. Because
I think you know what? I think you're right when
Yeah.
you say that. I'm kind of looking at it as most improved because
Yeah. that's not a bad thing. I mean, I totally get it because I mean, there's no most improved player. Like, the NFL does not acknowledge like the player that has improved the most at all, really. So I mean, like a lot of people kind of just see the comeback player of the year as like the de facto.
kind of
most
like a
improved
Mickey
player.
Mouse award now.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. It's kind of like the comeback player of the year award. It really, I guess this year it doesn't really have anything to do with like your impact on the field. It kind of just is like, oh hey, this guy
This guy just fucking died.
this guy that
and
died and literally
came
like
back and played.
yeah, this guy that died and it was so like all the shit that happened was so crazy that an NFL game got canceled basically. Like he came back and played. So yeah. But yeah, no, I really think that kind of with this, I really do think the NFL should add a most improved player. And I think that'd be good because I mean, when we're talking about the NBA, the most improved player is like one of my favorite awards to talk about. And it's one of my like favorite awards to see. I love seeing like all these young players like take that big leap or not even young players. It could be some older guys too that kind of take that big leap and are able to kind of just have like a big improvement. And you're kind of able to see. I don't know. It's one of my favorite awards in the league in the NBA, and I think if they added it to the NFL, it would be really fun. Anyone would see as much discourse about comeback player of the year.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, I look at a guy who's had 2 tackles all year, but it's also a guy who literally wasn't alive for like
Exactly.
5 minutes.
That's what I've been trying to say, dude. Is like,
So, I mean, you're kind of talking me into being on the support train here.
yeah,
I'm not trying to like disrespect anyone, of course, but I just feel like we had so many like Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco. Like
no, I totally get it. It
any other
sucks.
year, they would have 100% won.
I get it. Like, it sucks. Like, because there's like a lot, especially like a lot of quarterbacks, like Baker, Joe Flacco, Tua, Stafford. Like those guys kind of all came back from like
Shitty
yeah,
situations.
like really odd years and played a lot better. And it's unfortunate that they're not going to win this award, but I mean, like I think they understand. I think they're fine with
No, they
giving
definitely
this,
understand.
yeah, with having this
Well-
go to Damar Hamlin.
Joe Flacco came out and said that Damar Hamlin deserves the award. All the comments on that were so funny. Like the top comment was like, "Someone definitely has a gun pressed against his head."
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if like, because I know like a lot of people's arguments like DeMar Hamlin barely played. It's like Flacco played like fucking 5 games.
No, I mean,
You
yeah,
know
if
what I
you-
mean? And it's like, so if you're gonna take that into account, then you should definitely give it to Baker Mayfield because he played the whole year.
and he
So,
did a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of my opinion on that. But yeah, I think DeMar Hamlin. Yeah. I mean, that's the obvious choice here for comeback player of the year.
I guess when you look at this award, you got three really great stories. You got DeMar Hamlin fucking dying and coming back. You have Joe Flacco. Okay, all right, hold on. Let me ask you this: what's worse, literally dying or
just
playing for the fucking Jets?
Well, I mean, he didn't come back from playing the Jets. He just came back from chilling on the couch. Like, that's the thing. It's like he played for the Jets like a few years ago. It's like he was just chilling on the couch, and the Browns called him up. We're like, "Yo, did you try to like be on the team?" And he's like, "Sure, whatever."
Fuck it, bro. We ball.
Like,
But you know what I mean, though.
no, if you're gonna do that though, I do that for Baker because he was on the fucking Panthers, dude. So
There you go.
There you go.
What's worse, dying or literally playing for the fucking Panthers?
It was funny. Like I saw like someone talk like, yeah, no, DeMar Hamlin deserves it over Baker Mayfield because of like what happened. And then someone like quote tweeted that saying like, I don't know, man, playing for the Panthers is pretty bad. And I was like, he's not wrong, dude.
I mean,
Like that was so funny, dude.
so when you look at all three of these players, you have like horrible situations.
Yeah.
So to me, this is like what I'd call the scriptwriter award.
Yeah, these three horrible situations: chilling on the couch, playing for another NFL franchise, and then being dead.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on
Yeah,
before we get
let's get the coach of
canceled
the
or
year.
whatever.
Yeah.
The NFL kills us.
Yeah, well, this video isn't seeing the light of day, dude. But
Coach of the year. So who you know who's gonna win it? D'Amico Ryans.
yeah, that's who I had.
Who I think should win it, and I think D'Amico Ryans is right up there. I mean, this is another one of those I wish we could split, like co-coach of the year. But I think Kevin Stefanski went through more adversity this year.
That's
this-
a good pick.
This is coming from a Ravens fan. I mean, that guy had five different starting quarterbacks, but 4 different starting quarterbacks that started multiple games. Lost his best player in Nick Chubb.
I would say Myles Garrett's the best player, but
I'm sorry.
on the offense,
I'm thinking on the offense.
On the offense,
on the
for
offense
sure.
side of the ball, lost Nick Chubb. Mari Cooper was in and out of this lineup, and also like getting old.
yeah, I think they lost Jedrick Wills too for a lot of the year. It's one of their offensive linemen.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were really going through it over there.
and
in
the
Cleveland.
team, I saw this statistic: 25% of their insane cap, because they're kind of in the Chargers boat where they're fucked in the cap situation.
Yeah, well, that's all because of Watson.
Huh?
That's all because of Deshaun Watson, dude.
Yeah,
They gave him all that guaranteed money.
Deshaun
bro.
Watson's used to. I was gonna make like a
No,
sexual assault
I
joke,
know
but
you-
I don't know what to say. Just whenever I hear his name, I gotta make one
Yeah, there's a joke in there. So.
somewhere. But anyways, 25% of their insane cap on IR this year, and when you take that and you still go, were they 11-6? Yeah, pretty sure they were.
I think you're right. Yeah,
That's insane, man. I mean, that's just crazy to me. And,
yeah, 11-6.
And yeah, they got bounced first round of the playoffs, but this is a regular season award.
Yeah,
And I just think if you put any other coach on this team, and this has a lot to do with Jim Schwartz as well. Jim Schwartz
awesome coordinator.
changed this defense.
Yeah,
But Kevin Stefanski just really, I feel like, brought the team together.
yeah.
I mean, how do you get your players who just lost their starting quarterback, their starting running back, fucking like half their team? Like, how do you get them to be like, hey guys, we can still make the playoffs?
It's
Like, get them motivated.
It's
you
like,
know?
guys, we're cool. Like, we still got this awesome
Yeah.
defense. Like, we still got Zadarius Smith, Dalvin Tomlinson, Myles Garrett on the defense. We got Denzel Ward over here. We got Greg Newsome. We're
So-
chilling, dude.
So I think when you look at that, I think the Browns were definitely the team that fought the most adversity this year. And so I think the fact that they still made the playoffs definitely is deserving of a
No,
coach of the year for him.
yeah, that's a really good shout, honestly. Yeah, but for my coach of the year, I'm gonna go with D'Amico Ryans. I mean, first year head coach, you're working with a rookie quarterback, and then you win 10 games and a playoff game on top of that. I know the playoffs don't really matter for this award, but I mean, just the just the the absolute shift that happened with the Texans once they brought in D'Amico Ryans. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen. I don't really think I've ever seen anything like that before. And if I have, it's been a long time since something like that has really happened. So, I mean, really, just an impressive job by D'Amico Ryans himself. So, and I mean, I could go on and on just about like the job that he's done, but I
Mhm.
mean, I think we talked about it enough on this podcast. So yeah, but I mean, if we're gonna talk about guys that kind of like deserve like a little bit of recognition, I would also go with like Shane Steichen. I really do think that like week 18 game against the Texans and the Colts, I think that basically that was for like
Coach of the year.
yeah, it was for coach of the year as well as like a playoff spot too. But yeah, so I mean, there's really a lot of good candidates for coach of the year this year.
A lot of good candidates this year.
Like, yeah,
Um, but those are our awards. I mean, let us know what you guys think. What do you think we got wrong here? Um, and what do you think we got right? Please let us know. Let us know what your guys' picks are. Let us know who you think should win comeback player of the year. I know that'll be a very heated debate this year.
tell
Probably.
us why you think DeMar Hamlin should win it or whatever you think about it. You know, let us know all the stuff we talked about. Let
I
us
feel
know
like
your head coach
I feel like
rankings,
comeback
all
player
that.
of the year will be the most anticipated one, honestly, because I feel like a lot of the other ones are kind of
I just know like the Instagram comments when they announce that the
are going to be
NFL
insane.
it's gonna be like a cesspool in there, dude. It's gonna be so bad.
Like a
God.
melting pot of just.
It's gonna be awful, dude.
All right, should we jump into the Super Bowl?
Yeah, the big game.
I mean, the big game that I'm
Yeah.
not so excited about, but I'll still watch it because I'm just a freaking.
You're a football fan.
I'm
man.
just a football guy.
You're an enjoyer of football.
I'm an enjoyer of football.
Yeah, we're gonna watch some good hoops on Sunday. That's all I can say.
It's still a good matchup with two teams I don't want to see win. That's what sucks about it. It's like I just want both of them to lose. But my stomach just rumbled. But I mean, I definitely think it'll be a good game for sure. So should we just jump right into it?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Who we think is gonna win?
Yeah, I mean, we got the 49ers and the Chiefs in a rematch from the 2019-2020 season.
So here, let's do this. All right. We decided to split it off into 4 different categories in terms of like predictions.
Oh yeah.
So we'll go first touchdown first. I have the San Francisco 49ers, and I think George Kittle will score it.
Okay.
I feel like the 49ers are the type of team that like to get off to a hot start, and then you'll see my winner.
Okay. For the first touchdown, I'm gonna go with Rashee Rice. I don't know.
You're feeling it for the
Yeah.
Chiefs?
Literally
Okay.
all these predictions, like except for like the actual winner, are just like gut feeling.
Yeah.
Because I'm just doing this on the fly.
Okay. Leader at halftime. I got the Niners as well.
Yeah, I'll go with the Niners. I think it'll be like 17-13 or something like that.
Yeah, some basic.
Yeah.
Okay, so the winner of Super Bowl 58, who I think will win, and this pains me to say, but I have that feeling, and not only that, but I also win $200 if they do win. So it's like, but I have the gut feeling that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl again, unfortunately, and I know nobody wants to see that, but I feel like you can kind of agree with me. There's just with Patrick Mahomes, there's just always that feeling where you're like, he's going to find a way to win, and it's like you don't want him to, but the story is just too good. I mean, if the script writers are real, then the Chiefs will win 100%. You got a Taylor Super Bowl. There's no way they're fumbling that. And I think the MVP will go to Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, if the Chiefs win, it doesn't even matter if Patrick Mahomes throws like 4 interceptions. They'll probably still give it to him.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I also have the Chiefs over the 49ers.
You got the Chiefs winning?
Yeah, again. And basically I can't doubt Patrick Mahomes anymore, dude. Like I was thinking like that AFC Championship game, I was like, man, dude, the Ravens are about to just steamroll through this team, and then they didn't, bro. And I'm like, all right, I'm sorry, dude, but like I watched that, I was like, all right, man, this dude's on like the Brady level of like, all right, when I doubt this dude, it's just an idiotic choice to do that. So I'll just go with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs winning this game. And I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm very cautious about.
I
Like
can
this.
I can see the Chiefs are the new dynasty. The Chiefs are the new
Yeah.
Patriots. Patrick Mahomes is better. Like I can just see all this shit this offseason, and it's gonna piss me the fuck off. But I think I get the feeling that it's gonna happen.
No, I totally see that, and I don't know. The weird thing is like it's kind of weird to like predict like somebody winning back to back Super Bowls just because like
That never happens.
that hasn't happened in like forever.
The last
So-
time it happened was the Patriots in like 07 and 08, I want to say.
I think it was the Steelers actually that did it.
No. You
I'm
wanna
pretty
bet?
sure it was.
You want to bet?
Yeah.
Huh, what do you want to bet?
Dude, I'll throw like a fiver on there, dude.
Actually?
Yeah, man. I think it was the Steelers. I'm like pretty sure it was the Steelers.
Back to back. Having to type with one hand is the most fucking annoying thing ever. Back to back.
Dude, I already got pulled up, brother. Hold on.
Who do you guys think is right? Drop it in the comments.
Oh shit! Wait a minute. I swear I thought it was the Steelers.
The Steelers in like the 70s. A long ass time ago. But the Steelers only won one Super Bowl recently. This is against the Cardinals.
Thanks. Really appreciate that.
Sorry.
I don't know why I thought they fucking went back to back recently. Well,
It's okay.
shit. All right, fine. I'll Venmo you $5.
No, you don't have to Venmo me.
I'll Venmo you $5.
Do not have to Venmo me $5. I don't care. But
I was so confident in that, dude.
the only reason I saw a graphic like fucking 2 days ago, so that's why I remember. But Tom Brady did it. So it's just in case you guys are curious. I mean, it's kind of cool to know. There's only been,
That doesn't happen that much.
well, I guess 7 different teams that did it, but one team did it twice. The Packers won obviously the first 2 Super Bowls ever. So the Packers did it. The Dolphins, the Steelers did it twice in the 70s.
They did it like 3 times, dude.
Yeah, but I mean they were playing against plumbers, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Terry Bradshaw was a fraud.
Yeah. 49ers did it in the 90s, obviously in the Montana era. Cowboys did it in the 90s, probably the 90s as well, right? That was when the Cowboys
yeah.
were not good in the 2000s. Broncos did it in the 90s probably. So you just had like 3 good dynasties in the fucking 90s.
Yeah, they did it in the late 90s. John Elway doing that, of course, after Joe Montana retired. Or not retired, but after he was kind of washed.
And then the Patriots did it in the 2000s. So I feel like, I don't know. It's been like over 10 years that it's happened. So, I mean, it's about time that it does happen, but fuck, I hope it doesn't.
You know, honestly, before like I was like settled on the Chiefs, I was really picking the Niners just because like repeat champions never happen. Like I was like leaning towards the Niners. I was like, nah, dude, I gotta go with the Chiefs just because. I don't know. I just think their offense is gonna like show out kind of like how they did. Like, I don't know. I think their offense is gonna like be like, we're in the Super Bowl. All right, let's stop fooling about. Let's get it together now.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw fucking Marquez Valdez-Scantling, bro. I'm sure he'll have the dagger to end this game again.
Kadarius Toney will. He's coming back.
Oh, Kadarius Toney. He'll have like an insane punt return again, like he did last year against the Eagles, or some shit.
I don't even remember that. Literally, all I remember from last year's Super Bowl was the holding call. It just ruined everything, and I just forgot about. I was like, well, fuck this shit. I was like, I'm not even gonna watch football next year, and then obviously,
Now we're watching football.
obviously, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exciting time. Vegas. It's the first Super Bowl in Vegas. I want to say, yeah. Is it this first Super Bowl we've ever had in Las Vegas?
I would assume so.
Because we've never had a stadium there.
Yeah, it looks like they just didn't have anything out there. So
that's kind of exciting. I mean, it'll be good. I don't know. I don't know what to talk about. We'll probably be doing a live stream, honestly, for the Super Bowl. Me and Cole were just talking about that before we started filming. So stay tuned for that. I mean, I don't know if we do it on Instagram or YouTube or something.
yeah, I'm sure we'll be a few Modelo's in by then, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
that'll be really interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know. That's really all I've got here. I'm just scrolling through Twitter right now, looking at the Dodgers resigning Clayton Kershaw. So
That's all I've got as well. Did they really?
yeah, they brought him back. So
Okay.
now,
Well,
now the rotation's even better. But
good for them, bro. Fucking.
yeah, I'm sure.
Too bad the Orioles are gonna win the World Series. Would they play themselves each other in the World Series or?
Yeah, but I mean, the Dodgers never fucking make it there. They could literally sign like God himself, and they'll lose to like the 83 win St. Louis Cardinals in the wild card. So I'm not really worried about the
Yeah, I'm
Dodgers.
not worried either.
Yeah,
Orioles, 2024 champs.
I 2025.
October.
No, 2025 because the D-backs gotta get their revenge on there.
Oh.
But yeah, y'all can have 2025.
And then the Wizards, like 2030. We got this.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Are they the worst team in the NBA right now?
I think it's still the Pistons,
Okay.
but I do remember recently the Pistons did beat the Wizards,
Fuck.
so they're pretty bad. They're one of two teams with less than 10 wins. The Wizards and the Pistons, bro.
Hey, that's my team, bro. We're tanking. Didn't they take like Bilal Ubalali or some
Oh yeah,
shit?
Bilal Coulibaly.
Fucking yeah, dude. Has
Yeah.
he done anything?
Dude,
I need to fucking watch basketball. Get back into basketball.
I know. I think once this, honestly,
After the Super Bowl, I promise you guys, I'm gonna be like,
here's the thing. I like say to myself, I'm like, yeah, dude. Like right when the Super Bowl ends, I'm gonna be like back onto basketball. But then I'm like, but then we got the draft coming up and free agency, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't
wait
know.
a minute.
Sorry, guys.
I think we might still be locked in.
I'm just gonna be a Wizards.
Just a day one Wizards fan over here. Yeah, I mean, you played for them, dude. You're Otto Porter. So
Yeah, true.
yeah.
Kyle Kuzma.
God, you got me looking at fucking Bilal Coulibaly stats, bro. That's how you know when this podcast is running along is when we're just chilling, looking at NBA players.
He
stats.
put up 8 points, bro. He's not playing horrible.
8-4-2 on
46 and 38. I thought he was like a raw
I was looking
prospect.
at his percentages, dude.
That's
Low-key.
pretty good.
Not bad.
He's the future, bro. He's next up.
Dude, 6'8" shooting.
Let me get a
guard.
Bilal Koulibaly jersey.
Oh my god.
On the next
dude.
pod.
I just looked at his birth date and that makes me feel so why does that makes me feel so 2004.
All right.
It's time to end this show, dude.
Have a good
I'm closing this computer, bro.
Have a great week, guys. But yeah, stay tuned for our live stream for the Super Bowl and
I mean,
let us know who you guys think is gonna win. I mean, it's an exciting week. It's a fucking Super Bowl. Come on.
yeah, I mean, it's Super Bowl week. You know, like we said in the last shows, if you like the pod,
Subscribe.
yeah, give us a subscribe on YouTube. You know, get us that 5 stars on Spotify.
Yeah. Follow and rate.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you like it, tell your friends, tell your family about it, you know, have them tune in. And if you don't like it, then shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
please. So,
Seriously.
yeah, that's all I've got.
That's all I've got as well. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. We will see you guys next week for our Super Bowl recap. Probably have lots to talk about from the big
Yes, sir.
game.
Might do a little mock draft.
Might do a little mock draft. Maybe do, and we and Cole were also talking before the show. We want to do some like redrafts, which I think will be really fun.
Yeah, we'll look at some past drafts, do like a redraft to like the top 10 or something like that. See.
And I want to start
What's going on?
posting more on like Instagram. So I'll probably post like our head coaching rankings or something.
Yeah, we should do that.
But
Yeah.
to just get more involved on our Instagram. So,
Yeah.
anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Have a great week.
Peace out.
See you.